Hi everyone, it's Dr. Romney. Welcome back to this YouTube channel that takes on all issues: narcissism, narcissistic relationships, and just toxic people in general. The video you're about to see is also part of a sort of longer term series we're doing on the various family roles. You understand these various family roles, including the role you might have had if you had one or two narcissistic parents. It can give you some insight into what that role was, how it affected you as a child, and how it's likely still playing out in you as an adult. So you'll see these videos coming out from time to time, and I hope that these really do give you some clarity. As always, if you like this video, give us that thumbs up if you liked it. If you don't, I'll try to do better. And then please hit that notification bell if you want notifications, because you're going to subscribe and you'll get daily reminders that these videos are coming out. So today, the type we're going to talk about is the invisible child. If any of you are the invisible child in your family, please let me know, because I'd like to hear from you. This is a common role in narcissistic families, and while some people may think it's sort of a blessing to avoid the wrath of the narcissistic parent, for example, the big scapegoat really has to take on that wrath, being the unseen, invisible child really does carry its own particular toll. The invisible child, that title is pretty self-explanatory. This is the unseen child. Literally, it almost seems like the child that would be forgotten or left behind if the family went on vacation or something. This is the child that the narcissistic parent rarely notices, asks about, or even addresses. The invisible child also may not experience, like I said, the attacks that the scapegoat does. They're just simply not seen. It's like you don't exist. Being the invisible child is a tough legacy. Not be noticed can negatively impact their development of their sense of self and emotional development. Children learn emotions through mirroring, and available parents who are also aware. These kids learn to regulate because their behavior is noticed. If a child's behavior is not noticed, if the parents aren't available or aware, then the invisible child is a child who's on their own. A narcissistic parent is, simply put, not well designed for parenting. They're well designed for being grateful. They're well designed for being invalidating. For example, getting attention, the way they do to their golden child, and they're well designed for being dismissive and disinterested in close relationships. And that is what happens to the golden child. Narcissists are simply not up to the rigorous demands of parenting. Children need their parents. They need their empathy. They need their awareness. They need to feel valued. And this is true whether a person goes on to be a parent to one child or 8 children. But since narcissists are all about themselves first and others later, some kids are bound to get lost in the shuffle. And the invisible child really is that child who gets lost in the proverbial shuffle. The only potentially good benefit of being an invisible child is that the invisible child may actually not need to endure the abuse, the scapegoat experiences, or those relentless expectations and the conditionality placed on someone like the golden child. The invisible child is left to figure out a lot of life on their own, whether it's just life choices and decisions, issues related to school. They just get lost in the shuffle. And that's a very inefficient way for that poor invisible child to live their lives. They just may not feel supported or be supported. They don't know the right path, so they're often stumbling, trying to figure it all out on their own. Even if there is family support, financial support, they just have to make it up as they go along as a child when they should be getting guidance. To be the invisible child is to get the early message that you do not matter. And into adulthood, there may also be little interest in you from your narcissistic parents. Even in adulthood, whatever you say may not be acknowledged or simply devalued. It's like one of those nightmares where you try to yell and no voice is coming out of your mouth. The invisible child may be at risk for remaining unseen in adult relationships, of challenges, the challenges they may have in identifying their own emotions and feeling that they have the right to express their own emotions. There's also the risk for the invisible child when they're adults of entering into adult relationships where the cycle of being unseen is permitted to continue. It can also leave, being an invisible child can also leave a person feeling quite isolated from a family dynamic. Not being seen is something that might persist into your adult role in your family of origin. And I gotta say though, the one positive effect of this is that if you can understand and accept this, that you were the invisible child, you may no longer waste time contributing to the family needs waste my time. They're not missing. When I've clinically worked with invisible children, some of them were sort of struck at how they were rendered completely non-existent. They were like a ghost in their own home when they were growing up. Some did share tales of rebellion and of acting out just so they could get noticed. And that might even include things like engaging in risky behaviors like sex and drugs just to get noticed. And obviously, that's not safe or good for a child, but you can understand why they would have done it. To the invisible children out there, please cultivate spaces in your life where your voice and your words are valued, important, and heard. And in terms of your family, here's the real bright side. You're invisible. So they may not even notice if you don't show up to the next family get-together or holiday dinner. So, again, would love it if you drop it in the comment section. Were you an invisible as they go to viewing what their various family roles were?
Hello. Was you an invisible child? What did you think of that? Your mics are on mute.
Oh, sorry.
All right. What did you make of that?
Well, yeah, I must have been the invisible child. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't. Sorry, I don't. Barely know you, love. You are live. You are live. The invisible child. You're talking about narcissistic. You know what I mean? The invisible child. What do you make of it? Please unmute your mic, somebody.
For me personally, I wasn't an invisible child. I know people around me who was. There maybe have been moments in my parents' lives where they were preoccupied momentarily, but I don't think that I was forgotten, if that makes sense, or that I was cast aside. Yeah, I feel quite fortunate, I'll be honest, that haven't really had to deal with that. I was a bit of a latchkey kid for a while. I probably, mum was working, I had to come home by myself, but there were reasons behind that. But I wouldn't say that I was invisible. I wouldn't say I was ignored. No, I think growing up personally for me, very much included in decision-making processes, and feelings were very much on the table in my household.
Another topic. What she said. Okay. Was it relatable in any shape or form for me? I couldn't kind of relate or digest what that was for some reason.
I always felt like I never fitted in. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, was it like, I mean, I always remember something from my childhood, like right way back, right? And this was obviously like right in the beginning. Was it normal for a child to stand there and cry about her shoelaces in the mornings? Because your dad's in bed asleep and your mum's gone to work early and you're standing there and you're sweating about your shoelaces. You're probably about 5 years old and you've got to go to school and there's nobody there to actually do your shoelaces up. And you're trying to run to school on your own and you've got some strange lady like who like lives near you asking you why you're running to school and you're crying. And you're saying, because I can't do my shoelaces up, but I'm going to be late for school. And it's like, I always remember that. And I always remember having snot bubbles coming out my nose. And I remember her blowing my nose as well. But I couldn't tell you for the life of me what she looked like. Not now. And that is what my childhood, like, apart from obviously, you know, without going into details, that is what a lot of my childhood was like.
I think coming from that little video a little bit, I think it's more like using other terminology, the black sheep of the family. That's another kind of way of looking at it in a small portion of it. If you look at it that way, many of us saying, "Oh, I don't fit in. I'm never noticed." She will learn to move her mic when she moves her equipment. She will learn that one day.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I do humbly apologise to everybody that just
it's all right, babe. It's the I've lost focus on that. Completely lost focus. So
about being
I'm not feeling the energy tonight. Yeah, I just think, you know, there's many people that will sit there and say, "Oh, everybody's for Scotty and no one's for Barbara," and all of those things. Those are the things that can go out and be projected out between, like she was saying. Some people don't even get an invite to their own Christmas parties, you know, family do or birthday parties or whatever. So, you know, the invisible child. Now it's sounding a little bit more familiar in certain areas, you know. So even down to like invitations to weddings or funerals and things like that, you know what I mean? So again, are you noticeable? Did you get the respect? Did you get the invite? Have you got, what kind of relationship have you got with individuals? But then most people have an expectation because they have that label family, and that makes that big expectation. And that's where we learn those boundaries to sort of step back a little bit if we have to, and focus on oneself more than what was conditioned in society about how we're supposed to be because we're family, those kind of things, you know. And that's where a lot of people, "You're my brother, you're my sister, you're my auntie, you need to be doing this," and set the example. But yeah, I always say to people, remove the labels and look at the individual. And yeah, you are looking for role models in life, you are. But I mean, yeah, we're talking about behaviour, aren't we? So
it's like with me, I mean, I think that's why it was like so important for me when my own children were growing up, because there's like so many of them, and it's to keep them close. It was important for me to them, because one day I'm not going to be here, and for them to be close and have a good close relationship and a close bond between them. You know, I mean, like I was having this discussion earlier about close bond between siblings, and it's true. If you bring your siblings up, or you bring your children up to be close, then they will be close, you know. And I think that I missed out on that, and I feel like I missed out on that, and I feel like I do miss out on my siblings. You know.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I look at some people and they're like really close with it's my sister, they're my best friend, and things like that. And I just think, oh, certainly don't have the relationship or did that you have, and it's kind of admiration. It's you admire that in a sense as well, somewhat. I did not have that kind of sisterhood family thing
No.
Do you think that a lot of people that have kind of like not had the full understanding or listening ear to certain situations, have a turbulence relationship within the family?
Yeah. I mean,
They're not nourished, are they? Not being
no.
nourished. I used to cry and say, oh, you always do things with my sister, but you won't never do anything with me. Oh, you can go shopping with her, you can't do anything with me. The jealousy would come in from myself, thinking, well, hold on a minute, you can visit her home, but you can't even visit my home. And the jealousy would creep in. I don't think it's jealousy. I think I just wanted equality. And I don't see, I felt the indifferences, one-sided. People, how, yeah, you watch,
Yeah.
don't you? Watch.
I mean, it's like, as I've got older, I mean, there's, you know, I've got, yeah, I mean, I've got friends now that are more like my sisters than my sister ever was, you know.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm not going to cry. But I thank God for them, you know.
Hello, Suzanne. I am very well. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. We're talking about just being
It's
different.
time to go forward.
Yeah. I didn't. The thing is, okay, when I look at my life, I think, okay, I've got siblings or whatever else, but it isn't not like the same as other people's.
No.
And it makes when people say that their sibling is their best friend, I think that must be a nice, wonderful thing to do. But when they say their sibling hardly speaks, you are strangers in a family. You really are strangers, because your siblings, one goes over to their friends who may not be your friends, and you are actually under the same roof, but living different lives, having different conversations, and having different private conversations. So, you know, and there you are with your parents sitting on the sidelines, and they're even having their own life. You know what I'm saying? So everybody under one roof is doing their own fight for survival and mastering through things that some of us don't even know. So we are having individual secret lives amongst each other, you know?
Yeah.
And I always wanted a sister that would do my hair, take me out, come and see me, all the things that I'm not getting anyway, put it that way. So I get it here though. I get it with my support group. I get it with my who are turning to family for me, you know, who are family to me, who are there every day, who do show up every day, who listen, who understand, someone I can speak to. That's what family's about, having someone you
Oh, they've both gone quiet. They've disconnected. I'm not sure if they'll come back. But hello, everybody. I was just listening to the conversation they were having. They were talking about their siblings and how they felt like outsiders. And kind of, you know, like the lone wolf in the family. Oh, look, Shell's come back. There she is. Hello.
Hello. What happened?
Just me and you.
Me and you. What's happened to Kerry? Where's she gone?
And then you froze, and I was still here. So I'm still here, and now you're back, and there goes Kerry. It's just, yeah, but you were
Right,
talking to your siblings, weren't you, and your family?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard.
I'll be honest, I don't know if she can get back in the room. She might be able to. So we will continue. If not, we'll come back with a part two. She can't get. Oh, look.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's run from one room to the other.
I certainly did. You know, sometimes at the end of the day, it's technology. Sorry, I'm glad you were still there, though.
Well, I think I froze as well for a minute, and poor leash.
You know, I don't know. It's strange, isn't it? Life's really strange. I mean, we
Family's
talk about
complicated.
anything. Yeah, it got strange. You know, when you wake up in life and you realise I'm not where I used to be anymore, you start to see things in a different way. But you also grieve for what you didn't have. You grieve for what you didn't have, and then you accept for what you do have. You know, so accept the things you cannot change, and appreciate what you do have. You know, around you. Not everybody is fortunate to have a good support network around them. Obviously not, but when you do have one, it makes a big difference. When you do you think we rely on each other?
Us.
Yeah, everything we do our open talks, yeah, we're there, but we are quite connected. Do you think
Never met before.
no, I think when you're talking about open talk, do you think I look forward to having someone to speak to? I think that's what makes a difference to me.
I think we always, whenever we talk, all of us, you know, whether it's like me, you, Leash, with you, or anybody, I always take away something new, something different every time I speak.
Yeah.
You know, it can be something little, it can be something huge. You know, but then I can always come back and bring something new as well. Like today, when me and Leisha had a conversation a few weeks ago, and today I brought something back, and to actually just see the look on her face was enough for me. It was like, huh, eh. Do you know what I mean? That was priceless. To just like drop that in there, so she actually does know that I've actually, like, because I haven't said anything to her about it, but I've actually like gone away and read up about this and that, and it's like, well, I told you I would. You know,
the education of understanding, and just to just
because that's who I am.
Level,
because I love to suck in knowledge. I love to learn. I love to, you know, it's just who I am.
Good. Right, Louis, thanks. Long time no see. Nice to see the viewer. Very well, thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, well, we just talk and we decided we're taking the opportunity to have a yap. It's been a long day, as you can see. It's been a long day, isn't it? It's been, actually, to think about it, I'm thinking, why do I look so tired in here? That's because early hours this morning, one was on podcast with Miss Natrel Mystique early hours. So I don't think we went to sleep till about 5 o'clock, 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock this morning. So, and then up again at 9 o'clock. And so that's grabbing a few hours, and before you know it, we're back on Open Talk. What a discussion today. It was brilliant. And we ain't stopped talking since. Do you think you like talking, guys?
No, I hate talking.
You did, but let's change that vocabulary. Change it. You know what? At the end of the day, I could sit there and put something else on. What topic would you want to discuss if you were going, viewers? If you had a question and you needed to ask a question about something, what would that be? It doesn't have to be about me. It could be your own question, a question for anyone here, or a question about life. You know, sometimes that'd be nice. And you have to get viewers' interaction. What would the question be?
That'd be nice.
When I'm on a live, when I'm watching somebody else's live, sometimes you know they're talking, they're concentrating, and focusing on what's going on and stuff. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I want to be a part. I just got a question. I have a burn question. So opportunities of questions. Yeah, there is an opportunity of questions. But I think at the end of the day, we talk so much. It's a line of questions. It's about a line of understanding. So I think I'm all talked out today. I'm tired, and I haven't watched telly, and I haven't Hulu. I'm tired. But we've had productive days. I love the podcast that we do. If people want to say something or tell their story, you've got that there. I like talking to people. I love the listening of their journeys. But what I like more is a positive outcome. There's so many topics that I want to talk about, and I need them to be after a watershed at some stage. But I'm not just going to sit here and just blabber and waste time. I'm actually going to go. Well, there's anything you guys want to say? Because we went to open talk, and we do that each Wednesday, and I enjoy it. So, Suzanne says, oh, fear of what's going on outside, going out there. She has a fear of what's going on out there. As I said, I haven't watched TV for about a week and a bit, really. Since they stopped the tenders, I lost interest in the TV. I never wanted to watch the news. I guess that removed a lot of focusing on myself instead of focusing on the outside world. I implemented things to keep me occupied, keep me emotionally stimulated, to replace any fear, and to make sure that I had a good support network around myself. The outside world is always going to be there. It's a big, bad, ugly place, but it can actually be a beautiful place, which you need to find the beauty in the world.
I'm just a bit confused slightly by the question. Like, what element of fear is it of? Is it people, or what's being said, or what's being done?
I think for what I know about this viewer is particularly the fact of COVID was a big issue in catching things, was the big issue, and managing. I think that was a big issue for her. More of catching COVID. Because of the vulnerability. So I think that was the more of the structured of, am I going to be safe? We can say there's masks, there's gloves, there's hand sanitizer, and follow procedures, but you've got to live some kind of life. Go ahead.
Maybe I can sort of answer that a little bit for and put a bit of rest.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I'm actually shielding until the 1st of August, which means that I'm actually got to stay indoors. I can take the dog out for a walk, but I do find, especially, I get anxiety quite a bit. But if you do need to go out, but there are ways now that you can prioritize your shop. They can put you on a special regime where they will give you priority to deliver your groceries to you. They will social distancing, obviously still keep the 2 meter and keep your distance as far as you can from another shopper. Try to do it early in the morning or later on in the evening, best later on in the evening when it's sort of calmed down quite a bit. Going during the week when everybody else is at work is much better. Always make sure that you wear your mask, carry hand sanitizer, and carry the wipes as well, the sanitizer wipes, so you can wipe things yourself. Don't worry about the gloves, because what they're saying, and from speaking to my own GP, is if you've got gloves on and you touch something that's got COVID on it, and then you go and touch a jar or a tin or whatever in a shop, and you're transferring the COVID from that to the next thing, and so on and so forth. So you're actually not helping the infection. But it is, again, it's just common sense about keeping your hands clean. You know, I mean, I'm the world's worst. I mean, I think I'm going to die even a cut finger. You know, I think I'm going to get some sort of disease and just die. You know, but I know I can feel you. I can hear what you're saying. You know, but just don't stress about it. You know, it is what it is. But you protect yourself. And
so you say don't stress about it. That's a very classic. Don't stress about it.
No, not
how they
not stress about it. Yeah, you've got to manage it. You know, I'm not saying don't stress about it, because of course you're going to stress about it, because it's a huge thing. You know, we're all scared. We're all scared of getting it. We're all scared of dying. We're all scared of getting poorly. You know,
I'm not. I'm not. You see the difference? Can you see the difference between me and you? We all. Yeah. Please speak on your own self, because I am not scared.
Okay, right, I am. Right.
But that's because you haven't watched the Law of Attraction yet.
I haven't worked with you tonight, admittedly.
Yeah, okay. No, everything that it's fine, but everything that you're speaking is of that negative perception, that persona that we've got to get rid of. We've got to stop that, because you're speaking that into your life. So,
I have got some more training to do, admittedly.
Yeah, I know.
But right, because these girls are just doing my head in today with this. It's a private joke, right? So, yeah, right. But it's fine, you know. You're allowed to be scared, but just don't stress about it. All right.
I mean, when COVID first came out, I mean, I don't go into COVID. It is a daunting thing. It was something new, just the same as where a lot of people think about HIV. That was out there. That was new. That soon died away. You know, it's still there, but less people talk about it. But they put fear into your lives, and fear is what holds us back. So baby steps to overcoming the fear is planning that journey, planning your days, task setting through the days. That's the only thing that I can suggest, because that even though the viewer may have fear, we all in here have time on our hands to live life to the best capacity that we can, without interference of the outside world. We have to build on our own foundation upwards. And you know what? Time cannot be wasted. I think that one thing this did teach us is time. Live in the here and now and be happy about it. Task set to your happiness. That's all you can do. Task set to your happiness. You know, every time I touch something, I mean, I've never really wanted one to ever touch door handles anyway. You know, I'm gonna go out anywhere. I go like open my top and I open the door like that. Anything that I've got to do, but I just don't want to put my hands on things. If people get near me, yeah. Thing is,
masks are there for protection. Protect you.
What I know is that you're in a house where your partner is. Hold on. Okay, you're gonna ask a question. Everyone has to have fear. Thing is, when that feeling is, or any feeling is uncontrollable. Fear, uncontrollable fear. Okay. I'm gonna finish off answering the viewer's question. If people get near me, Okay, well, you can set tasks and tell people to keep at that distance, which they're supposed to do anyway. It can't jump off you. I think more people wear masks so that they don't sneeze on you, if that's going to help you. But it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
stop
not
you.
airborne.
Yeah,
This virus is not airborne at all. It is the fluids from your nose, or like Kerry says, if you sneeze that, or like somebody projects like sometimes a bit of spit at you, but it is not airborne at all. So as long as you keep a reasonable distance.
This is what I never understood, is that some people know people are going out there and they are getting on, the shops are open and things like that, they are getting on, but still people are holding back, they're still hesitant, they're saying for health reason, self-isolate, do this, but that threshold went after a certain time, and for this time it's still going on, you know. Again, then I say it's a personal choice in what you do with your life and how much you put in activities in your life, because there were many people in the war days that didn't go out for months and months and months, and they made happiness within their home. So it's not so much about going out there. You can implement some things in life where you can structure yourself. You can get up earlier in the morning, you can go for a walk earlier in the morning so there's less people around. There are alternatives to it. Shelley says everyone has their own fear. The thing is, when that feeling fear is what we try and teach over. We try and teach people all to you're welcome, Susan. We're trying to master through overcoming that fear, and that's what we teach. Fear will hold back.
It's about changing the way that you look at things, I think, more than anything. And it's about, I mean, I'm like I just told you, I'm the world's worst worrier. You know, I find fear in a box of chocolates me. You know, but over this last few months, I have changed the way that I live my life. I have come to the conclusion that I've got a little girl at home. She's 7 years old. She's not been to school since February, March time, because of this COVID. But yet here I am. I get up every day and I teach her something new. It's a different way of living. It's not the way of living that we're used to, but it is a different way of living. And it's a different it's a change. Nobody likes change. But you know what? Take it with both hands and do it. It's fearful, yeah, admittedly, but you got to do it. You know, and that is just the way life is sometimes, you know. Change. Go on, Kerry.
Thinking back on The View, which I kind of know a little bit of history on, you know, there's a lot of anxiety in there, and it must be horrible to fear, like that kind of fear. Am I going to catch something? Fear. That's something that you've got to really look at the outside life and see, how are they all getting on? Are people going back to work? What is the news saying? What is your GP saying? Are you getting the right advice? But at the same time I know people that are on borrowed time with cancer. I'm sure they're not going to waste their time in four walls. They're going to try and do as much as they can on a bucket list to see out the time with some happiness. Some people take it on board and really go inside of their self rather than appreciating, oh my God, I'm on borrowed time, let me just get on with it. But in reality, we are all on borrowed time. When you watch people leave this world, you realize that what is the meaning of life. And then when COVID came along, it really did show another level of
vulnerability.
Even my own thought process of survival. It is about survival. And I think even my own thought process going through that, there was a time where I woke up, and I do have that video. I woke up and I said, I don't want to go anywhere. I can't go anywhere. I thought I can't. The words I can't, the words, everything that I was watching was really homing in on my brain. And therefore, at the end of the day, it was a little bit of a preventative measure. But once I started talking myself through that, No, you're not a prisoner. I actually demonstrated on live. I went, I actually can walk out that door. I can go for a walk out in the country. I can go and do by the sea on my own or whatever. It's not against the law. It wasn't not advised to not do it. In fact, it was called exercise. And that's a basic human right. So at the end of the day, I took every opportunity that they said we could do. And I made the best out of something that we could do. So, meaning acknowledge that you are going to be fearful, feel it, and then work on making sure it doesn't get out of control.
That's easier said than done sometimes.
I'm going to just bring back that again. Meaning, so let's go back to the first one. Everyone has to fear. Everyone has fear. No, everyone has to have fear. The thing is, when that feeling or any other feeling is uncontrollable, she says, meaning acknowledge that you are going to be fearful. Feel it and then work on making sure it doesn't get out of control. I think analyze the fear. What's the worst that could possibly happen? I think when you talk about fear, I got a fear of driving, being a passenger in the car. I hate it. My anxiety levels are up. I have to find a distraction just to get from A to B. If that helps.
I've got a fear of spiders. I've got a fear of thunderstorms. You know, I've got a fear of heights. I've got a fear of drowning. You know, everybody's got fears, but I've also got real deep and meaningful fears. And I think there's quite a few people out there that have. But then if I didn't, I wouldn't be where I am today. Does that make sense?
I think the element is an alarm bell. You know, triggers. You know, the fear and trigger. So you're looking at that, both of those elements and together. Okay, it's a trigger. I'm fearing this. Why? Because somewhere along the line, your memories pulls you back into time, place, or location that was uncomfortable for you. So, mustering through those triggers. I never avoid triggers. I muster through them.
I think trying to keep yourself grounded is important, and breathe through things, and like just trying to keep yourself level. Don't face your fears all at once, because you're just going to get into a state and you're going to have a panic attack in you. We all know where that's going to land up, don't we? Well, I certainly do.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about those panic attacks one of these days, because some people actually end up going to hospital over them, thinking they're having heart attacks.
Heart attack.
You know, the palpitations and things like that. But there is a way of mastering those, and through that, I can only recommend breathing techniques. It's a great element of shifting the mind. But you have to still replace the next task, which is, okay, I've done that. But rather than carry on thinking about that, what's my next journey? Where am I going and how am I going to get to A to B? Okay, the planning of it.
Yeah.
And that's sticking with the conviction of a plan, because that's half the time we leave the jaw half ajar, and we really need to step out. So that decision and indecisiveness based on fear is kind of like, you weigh up what's going to happen today. I have to plan my journeys, right?
Yeah.
And I'll plan them, and it'll take me days before I get where I've got to go. Why? Because all my fear is, who's going to go at me today then? Who's going to moan? Who's going to criticize? What's going to happen? All of those things. So I try to stay positive and still go ahead and do what I need to do, and try to take those barriers out of my head, and to say, you know what, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'll just get it done and then I'll go. I'm going to be okay. And it doesn't stop you thinking about what other people are thinking about you or something like that. It doesn't stop you, but as long as you can get to the A to the B and you've done it through the day, then reward yourself for doing those small steps and often. So every night, if I've done something, I'll go, I'm going to do something to treat myself today. That's so I can
Yeah,
make a little bit of difference to
it
my
is.
own life as a treat.
And that is so important. You know, it's like the monsters in it.
Yeah.
But
Kelly says is exactly. You know your fear. Exactly. You know your. Sorry, the eyesight's going. You know your
it's the
fear.
age.
Last trigger, and you know it's going to happen. Don't try and stop it. Acknowledge it and go forward. It's who in response, just hopefully not the heightened bit. Thank you. That's all. So yeah. Fear. I think that's an everyday factor for people, especially. I'd avoid the noise. I avoid the news. Get the word out. Negative stuff, I try and avoid. You have that control over your element. You have the control over what you watch and what you see, who's giving you the right information. But you have to do your own research in life. You cannot rely on one person giving you the gossip, maybe two giving you the gossip. You really do need to go back, research. If it's not in that engine, try another engine, but you have to do the clarification, and everybody has to be on the same page with certain things.
And can I say something? Google, sometimes their front page is full of nonsense, and the Sun, their newsfeed that comes up on Facebook, is full of nonsense as well. So please do try more than just one.
You've been talking about mind mapping. Simple mind, how the mind maps spaces. Okay. All right. How do I get to that link? All right. So I can't look at that link while I'm on here, but I will have a look at that. What that link is. Mind mapping. I can't go on there mapping piece of paper. I've got to go on my own map. Everyone's different.
Who's that lady?
Name's Shelley Titmus. Thank you, Shelley, my love.
I know who she is. Can I interject a moment? Hi,
Yes.
Shell. Hello, my Zoom buddy. My life in a lockdown Zoom buddy. I didn't think you'd be awake. Thank you. But yeah, Shell works with a few charities. She's in the process of sort of doing some training, some courses, and engaging with more people in regards to suicide awareness and prevention. So I've got a lot of love for our Shell, is what we call it. Another Shell, but Shell T. Yeah, I was going to say we've got Shell T, and then we've got Shelly Belly, is what I call Shelly on the StreamYard with me. So that's my nickname for Shell. But we've got Shelly Scrumptious Cakes down here, which is Shelly T. Sorry, it's just really bizarre, but yeah, she's a lovely lady, and she's very practical in her approach, and has that ear to listen as well. Very calming nature. I feel very cuddled by Shell, even though I probably never said that to her before. It's probably the first time she's actually hearing me say that. But she facilitates our Zoom calls, and she's got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of to keep us all in check, and muting the mics and that sort of thing when necessary. You know what I mean? When we get out of hand.
Oh, I hope Shelly will come on one of our calls and come on one of these and chat with us.
It'd be nice, yeah. I mean, again, you've been on the lockdown Zoom call sort of, once or twice the other side. So, yeah, we'll extend an invitation to the other Zoom lot and see if they want to join this Zoom lot sort of thing. But, yeah, there's a lot of discussion around mental health, our emotions, how we manage, how we, again, have I'm very fortunate that I feel like I've got two support networks, minimally. On different days of the week, it's all very blessed in my world where things are just aligned, quite so nicely, and I have really gravitated. I can quite happily say that I've got about 40 to 50 women, of varying ages and races and sizes and heights and all that sort of stuff. But life experience-wise, I'm learning so much from you all, because you mentioned sisterhood earlier. And, you know, I feel like I'm one of those fortunate children who my mum had, you know, a few decent female friends in that respect. My aunties were all right, you know, to a point. And I had that circle of women, of support, even though my immediate sister may not have been there, if that makes sense, like every day. We had our summer holidays together. We had periods of time that we actually really bonded, you know, and even now as adults, we might not speak every day, we might not speak every month, but I do know that I'd send her a quick message saying, "Sister, you're free. Can you have a quick chat?" You know, sort of thing. And once she sees the message, she'll be like, "Yeah, like phone me this time." So we do have both, you know, busy lives. She's got a busy life, she's got a family that she needs to take care of. And I respect that space. So when she does have that half an hour, then she's like, "Yeah, I'll give that to Leash," sort of thing. I treasure it, you know, because we don't have it's not a bad relationship, and it's just not as close as perhaps I would want. But that's what I have to find out if that's what she wants as well, and then we both have to work on it. And it's about just, if you take a step and I take a step, but I might take a bigger step and you might step back a little bit, but that's okay. You know what I mean? It's just that I want a bit more, and you'll say not quite yet, and there might be times where she takes a bigger step and I might say, and it's just, you know, and it's just learning each other in that way and being receptive to learning. And I don't just look at her as my sister, I also look at her as becoming a friend, you know, and that's the sisterhood really, isn't it? It's the friendship beyond the family, if that makes sense. Like me and my younger brother, we've got a beautiful relationship. I call it a synergy. I don't even call it a relationship with my younger brother, just because he's only younger in years, but in regards to his energy and who he is as an individual, like I feel like he was made for me. Does that make sense? Like, it's like the universe heard what I wanted. You know, I was nearly 10 before he came along, and I think that I manifested him. You know, I didn't want a sister. I knew that much. I knew I wanted a brother, and I kind of felt like there's a part of me in him a little bit, and there's a bit of my mum and a bit of my other brother and a bit of my dad, and he's just this lovely person. And then my nephew, again, is like an extension of my brother, and my other nephew's an extension of my sister. So I see them, yeah. Sorry, I see them in fact. I see my siblings in my nieces and nephews as well. You know, does that make sense? Like I can recognize the attributes and the personalities and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I feel about it. But what Shell says, just as long as both makes the hundred, whether it's 10, yeah, some days 56, yeah, it really is. Like whether it's 10% or 90%, and then some days it's 50-50. And I think that is how it is in all relationships, all interactions with all the people that matter. Does that make, like, it's more important the people that bring you value, that actually, yeah. And I will go back to what Suzanne said about fear, because I kind of didn't say anything during that moment. I don't have any fears. I know this sounds a bit obnoxious, is the word I'm going to use right now, but my only fear is that I'm going to start sweating. Because, yeah, it's that time of life.
Hold on, the contractions are coming again. Hold on a minute.
And, all right, sorry, I didn't, sorry, but, all right, so, yeah, you know.
That was 50 minutes.
This isn't a fear, what I'm feeling. It's menopause, and I have hot flushes, and I'm not taking any drugs or anything. I just want to ride it out because that's what I do. So if someone was to say that my fears have solutions, does that make sense? When someone says they're scared of spiders, for example, I don't particularly like them, but I don't dislike them because a spider hasn't hurt me. Yeah. When someone says they're scared of heights, I live on the 11th floor, and I grew up on a housing estate where we had blocks that had 27 floors. So the building didn't fall down. Does that make sense? Like, so I don't have a fear of falling. But does that make sense? It's like I've kind of tried to apply logic to the phobia. Yeah, because phobia is a real thing, and they can be cured. Like my mum don't like snakes. She's never been near a snake. So, like, why are you going to fear something that you're not even near? Like, like, I'm not laughing at it, but I'm just trying to show the rationale and the logic a little bit while I sit here dripping and my makeup just slowly lands on my t-shirt. But I don't fear anything. Like Kerry says, I don't even fear death. Death is inevitable. It's gonna happen. What we fear is that we don't know when death is gonna happen. So what we fear is time. Is like what Kerry says. We don't know how much time we've got. So all the other stuff can be resolved. There are solutions to those. I'm a solution finder. I'm very hard on myself when it comes to why do I actually think I fear something. So fear, as an analogy, is false evidence appearing real. So someone said they had a fear of drowning. So until I actually investigate that, and I would say to them, okay, so have you nearly drowned before? Okay, and that would be a rational fear of drowning. So that's because you have experienced that already. So what we would then do is work on confidence. So you would get into a paddling pool and it would just be your feet, and then you get in up to your knees, and then you get in up to your thighs, and like you slowly overcome the fear. Yeah, you build, and like you said, you deal with it a bit at a time, but in a controlled environment with people you trust. Right. So some people are scared of swimming in a swimming pool, but they'll swim in a lake. There are people that won't swim in a lake because they don't know how deep it is or how far it goes. But there are people that will go to a swimming pool. And then there's people that don't like water. That's a very interesting fear. They actually fear getting wet. So these are things that you kind of learn to not cope with. Some things do have to kind of, you want to have to resolve them in order to keep progressing in life.
I do have a bath. I'm okay in the bath.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. It's really hard. Like, I don't. If someone like, do you have a fear? I drive a lot, for example. Yeah. So let's put it into context. I drive for a living. I'm a key worker, so I'm out on the road, during the day. And people would say, do you have a fear of having a car accident? And my answer is no. I don't fear crashing the vehicle I'm in, because I'm in control of me and the vehicle. But what I can rationally worry about is other drivers, because I can't account for their driving ability. I can't account for how long they haven't slept or whatever, they're picking their nose or smoking or not concentrating or whatever. I can't account for that. So there, I can't live with a fear. If I turned it into a fear, I wouldn't drive, because I'd always worry about somebody else hitting the vehicle I'm in. So we look at it as risk analysis. And I have to look at fear as risk analysis. Right? So I'm a trained carer, and they teach us, with dementia people especially, is that they regress and they fear certain things. They fear people coming towards them. They fear certain clothes. They fear certain colors, and they react and respond to these things. So when you investigate their childhood, or you investigate a little bit about their past, and you realize that a trauma has happened that has instilled this to then be activated later throughout the dementia, because dementia is that once the man, twice the child. So you start to regress. You forget how to feed yourself. You don't want to dress yourself. You start using different words like a baby. You start literally going backwards. And once you learn how to address those behaviors and address those fears, some people fear forks when they get older because their gums hurt, yeah, for example, and the prongs hurt their gums. So what you do with that is that you either give them something plastic or you educate them to use a spoon. So then they still have to eat. They can't fear eating because they'll die. So you retrain the method, and it does take time. It's like if we feared walking or feared falling over, we wouldn't get back up, or we wouldn't learn to walk. So there's certain things that is a logical and a rational way, and then there's the phobia. And again, they say there's hypnotists and all these sorts of therapies that you can use. But I don't like tarantulas. I've never been near a tarantula, but I've got to a stage in my life where I want to address why I don't like big spiders. So I actually want to go somewhere and someone say to me, would you like to hold it now?
No,
I would.
Kelly.
No, I would. No, I actually would. Like, if someone said to me, I would hold a snake. Like, I don't want to have these irrational feelings about something I've never been into contact with.
Yeah.
Like, so, all right, let's turn it around. So I'll finish here. A man has hit me badly, a lot. Do I fear all men, or do I fear being hit?
Exactly. Yeah. I think it was October last year. I went for a bit of respite, and I thought, you know what? I am scared of the water. I am scared of getting in the sea, and I'm only going to do it with a wetsuit and socks on, and shoes on the bottom of my feet too, because my fear came from watching programs, and so therefore it started with sharks. It started with Jaws. Started with a film called The Blob also, so I stopped going into outside toilets. I was worried about all of these things because of the things that I saw. So having to master the fear of water is baby steps. And I am where I am at this age now, and I'm still trying to master getting in certain water, where it is, and it depends if I can see or not see. But last year I ran down the beach. It was freezing cold. It was winter. But I ran and I jumped in the water. And I did put it on film. There was a little bit of a dot. And I ran and I jumped in the water. The first thing I thought about towards those waves was sea lions. I've just seen them today. And I know that they're in the water. How are they going to come and get me? But I've got to do this because I'm live. And I was I can't back off now. So, but I was also concerned because the waves were so heavy that I did have someone with me, but I thought, nah, I now got to show off now. I can't let her know that I've got to back off. She's encouraging me. And I was like pushing and pushing and pushing. I just ran down that hill, ran in the water. It was raining, thank God, as well. I ran in the water. I went, done it now. And I ran back out as fast as I can. Would I do it again? Not in a hurry. But I may do it again. But I tried. It's small steps and an accomplishment of I tried. That's all you can do is try. Guys.
Yeah.
I was going to say there was another little comment, not a little comment, but there was a comment that about sort of fearing outside and fearing other people.
Yeah, that's
For me,
catchy.
yeah, I kept quiet because I just thought, how do I feel about outside and people? I'm a key worker, like I said just now. I've not stayed inside. I can't. My job dictates that I go out and I serve my community. And no worries, thank you, Suzanne. And so I go out into the community, and what I found is that the people I deliver to are all varying ages. Obviously, I'm delivering medication, so they all have a. I don't want to use the word illness. They all are being treated with medication for something. I have to say it like that for my own comfort, and trying to sort of get my thought processes across. And I've taken medication for what we call an illness or something not being quite right or functioning a certain way. But I didn't fear my illness. What I feared is what the medication was doing to me, because that was actually more impactful on my life. And then when I was delivering to the elderly or, you know, the sort of, you know, residents at home, I felt their fear. I could see their fears. And what I found more than anything is that they couldn't tell me that they feared the air because they can't physically see it. But what began to happen is that their fear was of me, because they could see me. Their language and their body language changed, and it felt like for a few weeks they thought I was the actual virus. Like, I'm not coughing, I'm not ill, I'm not on a vulnerable list, I haven't had to isolate, I haven't, like, this is absolute, like, this is my energy, this is just my thought process, this is just my mentality, this is my law of attraction. This is what I did during this lockdown period. I called it free up. I've never called it lockdown. I refused to allow the language to dictate how I should maneuver myself around society and how I should feel about myself and how I should feel about others. Lockdown, that didn't sit comfortably with me from the beginning. And then when they started talking about social isolation, well, I'm like, well, I live alone. I don't have any children. I don't have visitors. I only go and see colleagues. I have a very, very small circle of friends. I only speak to 5 people in my entire family out of thousands. Like, my interactions are on platforms, social media, devices. So when you're now telling me to isolate myself from people, in my world, that meant turn off my device, don't watch any TV, don't listen to the radio, because those are my only interactions with the outside world. There are no people in my world, no physical, tangible human beings. But now you're telling me to stay away from them anyway. But where are they? Because they're not, it's not saying they weren't in my world. So at the critical point in my life, where I actually wanted to be around people, I was being dictated to and told, no, you can't go there, you can't see your mum, no, you can't see your nip, no. And I'm like, hold on, are you trying to tell me that I can't go and see, like, I'm going to have to shout over the garden fence because I need to go and see somebody. At some point, I'm going to go out. You know what I mean? But it was just the way that I felt. I literally had to talk my deliveries and the people that I interacted with, I had to talk them out of that moment and stand there at a distance at the end of the garden path and chuck medication at people. Literally, the only person who I was allowed to go near is the blind woman, because she physically couldn't, excuse my language, she couldn't see for me to throw the package at her. She was the only one who was comfortable to say, no, please bring it. Some of them would say, oh, don't be silly, love, come here. And they give me a hug because their mind is saying, you know what? I'm not fearing humans. I've been through a war. I've been through all this other crap in my life. I've had I know what I feel. What I'm saying, yeah, whoever's breathing, it sounds horrible. We got to go. I don't like it. That just freaks me out.
I was wondering, carry on a minute. I'm just trying something. Carry on.
Yeah, someone's blowing and breathing and doing whistling down the back of the microphone, like a really eerie, spooky thing.
I've just muted Michelle's, so I wondered if that was Michelle's breathing.
Oh, it's a bit hard. All right, because that problem. No, it's still there.
That's Michelle's, isn't it? Yeah, it's Michelle's end.
Oh,
okay.
It's the dog.
Oh, he's
sorry. He's snoring and he's by my foot. Sorry, girls.
As far as you all, hope the next discussion will be as good as it is. There is plenty of videos in there. We do a lot of live talks, as you know. We do candid talk every Wednesday, and we might be a lot more random now. I've figured out a lot more things about my device tonight. So, guys, I think we should wrap this one up. And
I'd like to just leave it on a positive note in that respect, because like I said, I don't want to come across as being arrogant. I would just like to say that I'm very fortunate and I'm very pleased, and I want to thank the people, the people who have watched and the people who have said that they have feared. Because that's not something that's easy to admit. But I would just like to leave it on, like I said, on a positive, and just list what those fears are. When sometimes when you write things down, that they look different rather than being in your mind. So whatever fears it is, try and actually give them words and put them on paper. And then if they actually look like things you can resolve, it makes it easier to just, like you said, do the mind mapping type thing a little bit. I don't like to use that terminology per se, but it does give you a way of processing information a little bit, and taking away, not the emotion, but you learn to manage the emotion and look at the logic as well. So I'll just leave it there. Thank you.
Any words, Shell? Final words?
Sorry about the dog snoring.
Don't worry about the dog snoring. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Please, if you can just share the awareness, that's all we ask. It's a button, it says share, not just a like, but just to share. Somebody might take something out of it, resonate. That's all we ask. We're doing our part. Will you do yours? Thanks for tuning in. It wasn't planned, it was unexpected. We've been on here for a lot of time today, and I thoroughly enjoyed me time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, look. It's a mind over matter. I'm really trying to end the broadcast.